What if I told you that you could start melting stubborn belly fat, especially the kind around your belly and hips, with just 1 tablespoon a day? If you've been struggling to lose weight, no matter how much exercise or calorie counting you do, this is the solution you've been looking for. It sounds too good to be true, but in this video, after 6 years on a carnivore diet and trying every possible health hack with weight loss benefits, I'm going to highlight 4 key ingredients for you to have 1 tablespoon of every single day to rev up your metabolism. It'll help your body burn fat more efficiently than ever before and even slow down your aging. You could choose to consume all of these ingredients and get the best, fastest results, or you could choose your favorite 1 or 2 from the list. Either way, you're going to get results. These ingredients have 3 things in common. First and foremost, they're 100% carnivore, making them the most nutrient-dense and bioavailable foods you can possibly eat. And because they're easily absorbed and immediately available for energy without the anti-nutrients or digestion blockers found in plants. Second, they help convert that stubborn white visceral fat, like the fat around your organs, into metabolically active brown fat. This brown fat burns more calories and accelerates fat loss, especially since the ketones which you'll be producing generate up to 4 times more energy than glucose. Lastly, they're all insulin friendly, allowing you to be in a fat burning mode constantly, all while reducing inflammation by actually producing energy instead of storing calories as fat. That extra energy not only keeps you feeling naturally alert and energetic, it also boosts your metabolism, so you're burning calories even while sitting on the couch. Make sure you stick around because by the end of this video, I'm also going to reveal the one thing most people are using every day that's secretly sabotaging their fat loss and what you should do instead. Now, before we get started, I would love to invite you all to join my next 90-day transformation challenge. It's in my carnivore community called the Steak and Butter Gang, and aside from the $2,000 in cash prizes that I give out every 90 days, you'll also get 24/7 support from my all-star carnivore team, every carnivore recipe you could possibly dream of, daily meetings to help keep you on track and motivated, and exclusive face-to-face time with experts like Dr. Elizabeth Bright, Dr. Sally K. Norton, Dr. Anthony Chafee, Dr. Sean Baker, and so many more of your favorite carnivore voices. If you're looking for a one-stop shop for everything carnivore, this is your chance to transform your body, your health, and connect with the most supportive community there is. To join us anytime, just go to the URL shown on the screen, sbgmeetup.com, or check out the links down below in the description box. One of the most powerful fat-burning foods you can add to your diet is something most of you have probably never even tried, unless you happen to live in France, Hungary, Germany, or Poland, where it's considered a daily staple. And the secret behind its power isn't the taste. It's the unusually high concentration of something called oleic acid. I'm talking about goose fat. Similar to duck fat, which is a great option, but even more potent. Goose fat is loaded with oleic acid and the numbers don't lie. Duck fat contains about 45% oleic acid, and goose fat is at 58%, making it one of the richest sources of this metabolism-boosting nutrient. Why does oleic acid matter so much? It literally signals your cells to tap into stored fat as energy while supporting healthy insulin sensitivity. Oleic acid also plays a structural role. It gets incorporated into your cell membranes, improving their flexibility and allowing hormones and nutrients to dock more efficiently. That means smoother communication at the cellular level and a metabolism that runs like a well-oiled machine. And here's where goose fat really shines compared to other fats. Oleic acid has a unique ability to lower inflammation. Unlike any plant oil or even some carnivore cooking fats like low-quality lard that trigger inflammation, oleic acid calms them down. It suppresses inflammatory signals and promotes anti-inflammatory compounds. And since chronic inflammation is one of the biggest roadblocks to weight loss, goose fat can remove one of the main brakes on your metabolism. Just 1 tablespoon of goose fat a day gives you a dense, nutrient-packed source of energy that's easily absorbed, immediately available to your mitochondria, and powerful enough to help you burn more calories, even when you're not moving. But if you have an aversion to taking goose fat by the spoon, it's no problem, because in the pan, it behaves like you want a cooking fat to behave. It actually has a way higher smoke point than more common carnivore fats, like butter. So even if you're unable to eat it by the spoonful, you can finally achieve that restaurant level sear at home while burning visceral fat doing it. If oleic acid unlocks your metabolism, then choline is the fuel that'll keep it running clean. And the single best source of choline you'll ever find is not beef fat. It isn't suet. It's actually hiding in plain sight inside something you've probably been told by doctors not to eat too much of: the egg yolk. Just 1 tablespoon of egg yolk gives you far more choline than any cut of beef ever could, about 147 milligrams compared to almost nothing in beef fat, which is why sometimes I actually recommend it over beef fat trimmings or raw suet. And so why does that matter for weight loss? Because choline is what scientists call a lipotropic factor. It literally escorts fat out of your liver and moves it into your bloodstream, where your body can actually burn it off as energy instead of letting it convert to stubborn belly fat. Here's how it works. Choline is critical for making phosphatidylcholine, which is required for assembling very low density lipoproteins, or VLDL, the delivery trucks that take fat out of your liver to be burned or used elsewhere. So without choline, there's not enough VLDL, and fat gets stuck piling up around your waist and hips, or worse, resulting in fatty liver disease. In controlled studies, humans on choline deficient diets developed early signs of fatty liver, and those issues reversed when choline was reintroduced. If you happen to be struggling with fatty liver disease and you don't have a habit of drinking, a choline deficiency is almost guaranteed. And before you start reaching for choline supplements because you're not used to taking egg yolk shots, choline from egg yolks isn't just abundant, it's better absorbed than any supplemental form. The choline in yolks comes attached to phospholipids, which the body absorbs more efficiently, reaches your liver faster, and avoids the gut microbiome detours that turn choline into less friendly compounds like TMA. If you're looking for a more palatable way of getting in your raw egg yolks, you can always try my friend Dr. Elizabeth Bright's fat burning coffee recipe. It uses raw egg yolks in that daily coffee and it tastes delicious. I'll make sure to link the recipe on how to make it down below in the description box. This is actually how I've been personally enjoying my morning egg yolk shot since visiting her a month ago in Bari, Italy. Speaking of Dr. Bright, I actually have some exciting news that I literally cannot wait to tell you guys. Dr. Elizabeth Bright, as you know, is so very popular, and getting a one-on-one consultation with her means literally waiting up to 7 months. That is how in demand she is, and that is how booked out she is. And for good reason, because she is absolutely the most trusted voice in the carnivore community, especially when it comes to hormone healing. Now, while she's already written 3 incredible books about how you can heal with a carnivore diet, if you are still craving for that personal connection and personal guidance from her, I'm so excited to share that I will be collaborating with Dr. Bright to provide group coaching calls for anyone who needs it. And we will be offering 2 different options. If you would like Dr. Bright to read and analyze your lab work and from there advise best next steps for how you can heal, then I recommend choosing the premium tier with Dr. Bright. If you're just looking for weekly group Q&As where you can ask questions to Dr. Bright herself, then the basic tier is the best option for you. Regardless, check out both tiers that Dr. Bright will be offering down below in the description box. Sign up anytime and get the guidance that you need from her. Let's move on to the next spoonful, which is a kind of dairy that actually works even if you're super histamine intolerant or sensitive to dairy. Personally, I've always been very careful with dairy because if I'm not, my eczema will flare up, my gut will bloat, and I'll feel extremely tired and sluggish the next day. I know dairy is such a nutrient-dense food, but my body just cannot handle the pasteurized stuff. So that's why when I discovered raw unpasteurized dairy and specifically raw heavy cream, I immediately had to share it with all of you. This is why every time you see me on Instagram, which is where I post my daily meals, what I'm doing day to day, I'm constantly having Miller's Bio Farm dairy. It is always raw, it's never pasteurized, and it is the highest quality dairy you could possibly get. Just a single tablespoon of raw unpasteurized heavy cream has the potential to supercharge your metabolism in a way that most people completely overlook. And before you roll your eyes thinking it's just cream, this isn't about adding empty calories. Raw heavy cream is loaded with fat-soluble nutrients, including vitamin A, K2, and a range of bioactive compounds that work together to stabilize blood sugar. It also supports hormone balance and optimizes how your body mobilizes and burns stored fat. Even a small amount, literally a tablespoon, can enhance fat oxidation, meaning your body is more likely to burn stored fat for energy rather than letting it linger around your belly or your hips. Dairy fats are also packed with MCTs and butyrate, which help you stay in ketosis and keep those hunger signals in check so you can actually enjoy losing weight instead of constantly feeling hungry. And you can achieve all of this without ever touching coconut, palm, or any plant-based MCT oils that are literally full of plant defense compounds. The raw form is critical here. Pasteurized dairy is not going to work. It has to be raw, unpasteurized. If your dairy isn't specifically noted as raw, then it is most likely pasteurized. Now, since raw dairy hasn't undergone the fermentation and aging that allow bacteria to produce histamine, literally anyone can enjoy the benefits of dairy even if you've been avoiding it for years. I personally think it already tastes good on its own, but you can mix it into coffee, tea, or even a carnivore-friendly fat-burning latte, like the way I've been enjoying my egg yolk shots. Now that you're carnivore, your body has shifted from burning carbohydrates to primarily utilizing fat for fuel. So make sure you're getting enough of it to avoid the dreaded carnivore fatigue and, of course, the craving monster. And for all of you still adapting to carnivore, another thing to help you guys troubleshoot if you are experiencing both of these symptoms is how are you doing with your electrolytes? Meal prepping fatty meats and using the salt trick, which is simply just salting your meals a lot more generously with a high quality salt, can work great. But if you're in a pinch, you're busy, you're on the go, relying on a high quality electrolyte supplement can be very helpful. This is the brand that I recommend. It is from Element, and specifically this teal colored box. It is labeled raw unflavored. So this teal colored box never contains any stevia, sugar, or any other additives. Sodium, potassium, and magnesium, measured out in the quantities that our body needs. This is what the packets look like. Super small and simple. You just rip it up, pour it in whatever you're drinking, mix it up, and drink it down. You're all good to go. You all can get a free sample pack like this if you go to the URL shown on the screen, drinklmnt.com/SPGAL. Next up is going to be most people's favorite. I tend to have it by the stick. Butter. Just a single spoonful of butter is packed with many essential nutrients and vitamins like vitamin K2 and butyrate. In fact, butter is uniquely high in butyrate. It's actually the most concentrated natural source of butyrate that exists. Now, you already heard me mention butyrate when I talked about the raw heavy cream, but here's why it's so important, especially for those of you looking to melt visceral fat quickly. Butyrate is basically your body's fat burning coach. It tells your metabolism to turn stored visceral fat into brown fat, and then to turn that fat into fuel. So that adipose tissue actually gets burned instead of just sitting around in your body. It also works wonders in your gut, feeding colon cells, reducing inflammation, and fortifying your gut barrier, which means your body absorbs nutrients more efficiently and keeps hormones like insulin and cortisol in check, both of which are critical for staying lean. On top of that, butyrate naturally helps balance appetite hormones like leptin and ghrelin, making cravings easier to manage, which is just essential for sustainable fat loss. The only downside with butter is that if you're really sensitive to histamines like me, even tiny exposures can be enough to cause issues. That's where another way less talked about fat burning spoonful comes in. Ghee, Ghee. So ghee is simply butter that has been simmered to remove its inflammatory part for a lot of people, as well as its water content. Ghee is rich in many essential nutrients, but it's not quite as high as butter and butyrate, since there is nutrient loss during the clarification process. Ghee is still a great option, and there are actually a couple of areas where ghee beats butter. Aside from it being more histamine tolerable than butter, it also has a way higher smoke point. So even if you're not looking to eat it by the spoonful, you can definitely cook with ghee at much higher temperatures. I do want to mention that histamine intolerance can and will heal over time on a carnivore diet. So even if you can't tolerate butter right now, or if you can't tolerate higher histamine meats, that doesn't mean you won't be able to tolerate them in the future. When I see a lot of new carnivores in the Steak and Butter Gang community start the 90-day challenge, for example, even the tiniest bite of butter could flare them up and their histamine issues could go crazy. But after a few consistent months of a low histamine carnivore diet, they often are shocked to realize they could eat butter, high histamine meats again with no issues at all. So having a full tablespoon of any or all of these carnivore ingredients that I listed every single day can completely transform your body, your metabolism, your hormones, and definitely your fat burning potential. But remember how I said at the start of this video that most people are eating something every single day that's secretly sabotaging their fat loss? Well, here it is. I'm talking about seed oils, canola, soybean, sunflower, literally any oil pressed from seeds is wreaking havoc on your body and your fat loss. And while some people even try cooking their steaks in these oils, let me be clear. This is one of the fastest ways to stall your fat loss and wreck your health. These plant oils contain far less nutrients than any animal-derived cooking fat. So already you're not off to a great start. They also come from plants. And as we all know, all plants contain at least some type of toxic compound. This is how the plants defend themselves. But seeds, Seeds are actually the worst part of the plant. They're the plant's offspring. It's baby. So naturally, they're loaded with the most toxins to stop animals from eating them before the plant has a chance to reproduce. With seed oils, you're not just eating a few seeds. In a single seed, there's really not much fat. So to make seed oils, imagine how much manufacturers need to produce the quantities that we eat. So they get these massive amounts of seeds and put them in a mechanical press to extract the fatty oil. But even then, a lot of this oil doesn't come out. So they use chemical solvents like hexane to extract more. After that, the oil goes through another 10 steps: heating, bleaching, deodorizing. I'm not even joking. Seed oils go through 11 steps total before they're sold to you. At the end of this process, here's what you end up with: a fat that comes from the most toxic part of a plant. And on top of that, they also contain very high amounts of linoleic acid. Then you add in the fact that they're filled with chemical residues from industrial processing. And what you're left with is an oil that can be seriously harmful. Some people think that olive oil, avocado oil are healthy. Both of these oils do contain more nutrients than seed oils, which is a step up, but they still come from plants. So they do still contain plant defense compounds. Also, they both contain a relatively high amount of the inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids. The levels of linoleic acid in avocado and olive oil may be much lower than seed oils, but they are still way too high. Ideally, we want total fat to be no higher than 2 to 3% linoleic acid. This is the amount of linoleic acid humans have historically consumed. So it is what we are biologically used to. When you swap these harmful fats out for nutrient-rich animal fats like the raw cream, the butter, the ghee, the egg yolks, the colostrum, even goose fat, you're not just avoiding toxins, you're fueling your body the way it's biologically meant to be fueled. So why wouldn't our bodies effortlessly start shedding and burning the fat? Think about it. Also, my baby boy Aspen here is on a carnivore diet himself, and he would love for you all to hit subscribe down below this video so that you don't miss our next videos. SVG out and Aspen out.